James Maddox, and I am a nuclear and aerospace engineer contracting with the Marshall Space Flight Center, which is a NASA center in Huntsville, Alabama. And I've also been a practical philosopher ever since high school, which is increasingly a very long time ago. As an aerospace engineer supporting Marshall, I've been involved in several projects, one of which is the Space Launch System, which through the Artemis program will be launching eventually astronauts into space over the next few years, including the next astronauts to land on the moon. Currently, I'm working on a nuclear rocket project, which will hopefully someday send people out to Mars and even beyond. I was attracted to this profession because of its universal scope. It has aspects of grandeur about it because you're working on technology that helps us to understand the universe that we live in, what it is, where it comes from, how we relate to it. And working on the technology requires that you have some understanding of how nature itself works so that you can work with those laws to safely create vehicles that can accomplish these missions. And what we find when we explore the universe is that it's a beautiful place. It's awe-inspiring, it's full of mystery and wonder. And each new thing we find makes us want to learn more. And that's not unlike the philosophic quest. The difference is that with science and technology, the search is more outward, whereas with philosophy, meditation, wisdom traditions, we're asked to look inward. But at the same time, the questions fundamentally are the same. What is all this? Where does it come from? How do I relate to it? And so it's that fundamentally philosophic impulse which I think drew me to the space industry in the first place. I also wanted to be a part of something that people could connect with in a way that inspires them and brings them together. And the space industry does this in a number of ways, one of which is that the technology itself is quite complex. No one person can master all of it. And so it's the sort of field where you have to have people working together. So it inherently brings people together just to produce the vehicles. But also the fruits bring people together because they touch something innocent in us, that part of us that likes to wonder and likes to know. Because when you look at these images that, say, the Hubble telescope has produced of distant galaxies and nebulae, quasars, it's beautiful. And it gives you a sense of being a part of something grand. The individual becomes insignificant, but there's a part of you that you connect with when you see those images, which is majestic. Also, the exploration feats that have been accomplished and are being planned for future missions are the kinds of things that make people forget the boundaries that they're accustomed to, such as what nation they're from, what race they are, etc. When the American astronauts landed on the moon in the 1960s and early 1970s, it created a sense of unity when the astronauts would go on tour. People would come up to them and say, not you did it, or America did it. They said, we did it, even if they weren't involved in the space program. So it's like that. There's something about exploring this universe that reminds us that humanity is one. Similarly, when astronauts go out towards the moon, or maybe even just in orbit around the Earth, and they look back at the Earth, one of the things that happens is a deep appreciation for the beauty of our home, and a realization that when you look at the Earth as it really is, there are no boundaries between nations. So the industry itself, whether it states it as such or not, aspires towards a unity. And it looks for truth in a scientific way. the philosophy and the meditation, the goals really are the same. It's an exploration. One is looking for an understanding. One is naturally inclined towards a unity, a larger circle. It's just that that search is done inwardly through experience of these subtler realms within oneself. Whereas in a profession such as the space exploration profession, it's done by searching outward. And both are good. One of the things that's been clear through the application of practical philosophy over the years is that the beauty that one finds in one's work isn't dependent necessarily on the nature of that work. It's rather how one engages it. So one doesn't have to work in the space industry to experience the beauty of the universe and its majesty. One could be a gardener or a chef or someone in the medical profession. It really has to do with connecting with the work at hand and making it be a service, being an instrument for fulfilling whatever the essence of that action within that field is intended to fulfill. And then you feel the connection. And the beauty that you experience is the beauty that exists in the moment, which we can only find if we're present. So any field can make this available to one. And another thing that I found through philosophy is that whatever beauty there is out there in the universe that we naturally seek and experience pales in comparison to the beauty that is within us. Further, that beauty is the same in each and every one of us without exception. So I hope that there's something in that that you find useful, maybe even inspiring, and that you can find that too in whatever it is that you do, and can let a wisdom tradition, some stilling practice like meditation, help you to get the best of both worlds, the outer world and the inner world.